Hey everybody, my name is Jon Frederick. This is Savannah Simms. We are Freddy Media, and we wanted to tell you what the heck we've been up to since we launched this business.
I'm excited to kind of document the journey of starting something from the beginning and just these weekly check-ins. So the number one question we get every day is, what are you doing and why did you leave CDG? So why don't you kick it off there?
Yeah, I had the time of my life working at a car dealership guy, and it really was kind of the best outlet for my creativity or my business sense. And ultimately, we proved out a lot of concepts there. We proved that we could drive inbound demand for B2B products in multiple verticals, especially automotive retail. I know go-to-market and software businesses or vendor businesses are so hard right now because the efficiency of cold calling is really tough, especially calling into a car dealership, Savannah. Like, if you were the general manager of McLaren in San Francisco and somebody needed to get a hold of Savannah to sell you a new widget, they're not making it past the front desk girl. So effectively, through the use of people that we've signed to our talent roster or engaging strategic publishers, we can add a lot of efficiency to vendor go-to-market as well as other industries.
Absolutely. And I think just from working in a dealership, the amount of people that would stop a vendor coming in and you'd see them at your desk, like we had things that we needed to get done. And then on the vendor side as well, how frustrating that is. And also the expense on the vendor of having these road warriors, and they work hard. So what we're going to be really talking about and exploring is ways that we can leverage our creators to do something organically that resonate with their audience. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really great time. The big turning point for me in leaving full-time retail and joining you was having so much creativity and needing to channel it into something that was actually beneficial for the industry that I love so much. So
yeah, no, Savannah is a significant value add here. I know that I go to market, I'm crazy, I stack a lot of meetings and we work with great clients, but Savannah's really added a lot of credibility, a lot of fine touches, a lot of really great brand engagements that go beyond just kind of like a simple post. Savannah adds a lot of curation and a lot of detail to what we do. And you're like perfectly fitted for this business.
And Jon figures out how to make a business out of the creativity. So I'm excited. I think the next thing is just, what was that?
That is 100% what we do. We kind of figure out how to make a business out of something creative.
I may not be a TikTok star, but we're getting there. So I think the next thing is just really, what are the areas of our focus, and kind of talking about building a business around a TikToker. Can you explain what the value add is for the creator first?
Yeah, so creators are busy. A lot of them build a following around an actual job. So by the time they make it in what they're doing their job. Like, let's think of Russ Flips Whips. The guy sells cars. And then also he's creating so much content that he has to wake up at 5 a.m. He has to go to the shoot. He has to beg his brother to hold the camera. He goes in Saturdays and he goes in Sundays when they're closed. So Russ is doing enough. So if he can kind of lean on Savannah and I to build out products, build out a media kit, do some outreach to brands, handle the inbound lead flow, and strategically handle his business. And then beyond that, we're good resources for him to help create businesses as well. So something that Russ, Savannah, and I are all three like very passionate about is consulting with car dealerships. So Russ has hit on something that really very few people can do. He has built a giant audience on social media that has displaced his entire dealership's need for ever spending on Google or Facebook ads. However, what we've found is Russ can go to other dealerships or train virtually and teach these people how to build an audience themselves. Perhaps like nobody's getting 500,000 followers, but he's trained dozens of people at this point to get a few 100,000 views on posts and gain 3,000 to 4,000 followers on specific channels. And the sum total of that for a dealership is really important. If you have 3 to 4, 5, 6 employees that are each selling 3 to 4 cars a month off social media, that's 20 extra cars a month. And that's what Russ, Savannah, and I are running around the country trying to train people to do with Russ.
When I met Russ 6 months ago, just calling as a Lincoln dealer, like, what advice do you have when starting from the beginning? And he said he didn't have to do follow-up because they all came to him. They see him organically in their feed. And I think that that's something that speaks not only to to our consumers in dealerships, but also within the industry, the power of that, well before he hit 500,000 followers.
Right. So it speaks to like, what the heck are we doing? We will manage talent. We'll manage talent for people like Russ Flips Whips. We'll manage talent for Chris Corner. We'll manage talent with George Saliba, Vantage Auto, Javon Banks, really curate an automotive opportunity so that it makes it easy for brands to go, hey, I need to get attention of dealers. I should go talk to Freddy Media and find a creative way where we can engage dealers and publish something that they'll actually see. And then secondarily, we will invert that and we will approach brands and we will say, hey, look, let us design a media engagement strategy that could range from paid engagements so that you can do something with a very premium influencer, like a Chris Corner or a Joe Pompliano or somebody who has like a very, very curated following. And then for the people that don't have that big of a following, we can create strategic affiliate deals and we can roll them out across a specific industry. So we can work with a brand to create a media strategy where Savannah, me, and our entire team can manage the deployment of that for them. And then the third thing we're doing is just building influencer-led businesses. So Savannah and I both have a thesis in life that it's a lot easier if you can find a creator in a vertical and basically use their audience to flywheel a business. So if Russ Flips Whips is going to do a sales training business, it's best to source leads from his audience. That way we're not paying for customer acquisition cost. And then a great example is perhaps we come up with a wholesale application for one of our creators, or we do tangential businesses like that.
And I think outside of the traditional businesses within an industry, we've seen some of the creators build a business like Buc-ee's with Chris Corner. I mean, that story cracks me up, and it got international attention of him realizing that they weren't selling their products online. And so he wanted to get their attention and get them to do it. Turns out now he's authorized to do Texas snacks.
Right. I would say outside of automotive, the vertical that Savannah and I love is kind of entrepreneurialism. So people who publish about entrepreneurialism in our minds are just the perfect people for, the HubSpots or the whatever, whoever's recording this right now should all advertise with people who publish about entrepreneurialism. So Chris Corner walked into Buc-ee's. He spent, I think, $10,000 on his credit card, bought everything on the shelf, and then created his own e-com website, I think texassnacks.com, kind of with the intent to get the angry phone call from the executives at Buc-ee's. But in turn, he was slick enough to say to them, I just set up your e-com store. So why don't you just let me run with it? So Chris Corner has the exclusive e-commerce distribution for Buc-ee's, and they never wanted to do it. And now he has kind of one of the coolest businesses on the internet. So how can we create things like that, where the people that we work with, how can we empower them to create businesses, become a better publisher, identify correct brands to work with? And then on the brand side, the way we identify influencers, I guess this is our secret sauce. And I don't care if we give it away because it's kind of hard to do. It takes taste and it takes execution. So the secret sauce is hard work. But what you really do is you take the brand, then Savannah and I sit there and we identify who would be the perfect customer for this brand. Then we go and we find the influencer that would host that customer, that ideal customer profile within the organic audience. And not just a sliver and not just 20%, but perhaps a significant portion of that audience. And it's okay if there's still some consumers in there, if there's still other people in there that are not perfect. But as long as the ideal customer profile sits within that audience to a significant extent, then we feel comfortable advocating for a brand to spend money on that publisher. Publisher meaning influencer, creator, or even a brand. If I was Bosch Engineering and I wanted to get the very best engineers coming out of college, perhaps I'd publish on an entity like Interesting Engineering with 20 million followers, because they're publishing the right things that kind of the people that look at that would want jobs in that sector. So that's how we invert it to work with brands. And everybody is welcome to compete against us because it really takes kind of like an eye, and it also takes strategic engagement, and then it takes execution. So that's why Savannah and I really like to do it.
I think what I've learned in the last few weeks is that everything is worth exploring and time is so valuable. And so staying super organized and using our time wisely, but then reaching out for help and asking people in those industries. And now we've found ourselves in fashion, interior design. We've dabbled in marine in the last few weeks and engineering on top of automotive. And I don't see us graduating from an Ivy in engineering, but here we are putting together ideas for them.
Well, we just kind of like the business of. So anything that is the business of interior design and luxury real estate, or the business of marine, brokerage or marine yachting, that it ties into so many different things. But Savannah's we've done a great engagement recently, or we're working very hard towards an engagement in South Florida. And one of the brands wanted us to bring in opportunities to display a premium property on media, like a large luxury home. And Savannah's got opportunities with yacht brokers bringing in, giant boats to sit at the end of the dock, and luxury car dealerships to have the McLaren sitting in the driveway, and the best real estate agent in town to kind of sit within the home and walk people through it. So we just see things as holistic opportunities. We know how to engage people, and kind of what should have really only been one opportunity, Savannah has found a way to, split 3 ways. And that's how our mind works. And then we go after it really quickly, and we can kind of find success really quickly because it's more about one-to-one outreach than it is about spray and pray.
What I see so similar in both of our stories is the background in automotive and being able to work with all different types of people. And when I hear the stories of you working at Koons and different anecdotes, it helps. Coming from automotive, you're extremely hardworking. You have to be open-minded. You have to be able to pivot quickly and think on your feet. And so I'm excited to continue building that. I think we've really touched on kind of the benefits and what we have been doing. There are a couple other specific examples that I kind of wanted to touch on around NADA. Obviously, we just talked about the luxury event in Miami, but NADA and Q4, what do we have on the burner now for those two?
We have a few of the influencers we are working with are signed up for engagements at NADA that are really exciting. We have a few others that would be like perfect for doing that sort of thing. So if anybody needs NADA promotion, our guys are ready to promote your product, promote that they will be attending your booth, and then doing a booth engagement while you're there. The reason that's important is because if you don't...
Right there, because I don't want it to come across as, oh, they'll post at your booth and they're just going live from there. Like, let's give some like out of the box, really crazy teasers as to what we've been able to build.
In terms of Russ going to a certain booth and explaining to the audience and curating an audience of general managers and owners, how he's built an audience on social media, and then doing content with them, and basically forcing owners of dealerships to hold the camera and edit a clip and act like they're his cameraman. Yeah, we love a good creative engagement. And, if you just get a booth at NADA, will important people walk by? They will. But what are you going to do with the rest of the time? So if you can really put a little bit of thrust of promotion behind it, a real why as to somebody should come to your booth. And, I see all the time, Savannah, is people just spend on the wrong things. So you will invite a celebrity to come to the booth that simply will be irrelevant. So like, take somebody that has to do with your industry and put them there, because people really come to trade shows for, to learn. So like, let's bring somebody that has insight that the attendees can benefit from, and that basically sits on our client roster.
And I also think there's opportunity here for the follow-up from NADA and the value add. Yes, we will all provide teasers and engagement while we're there, but having those conversations about how can we close those deals beside you and keep that audience hooked after the fact.
Yeah, we love incorporating brands in everything we do. And I think kind of coming along for the ride, or cutting something with one of our creators for you to distribute on email, or basically a client retention play. Everybody looks at this as like customer acquisition, but it's really customer acquisition, but it's also customer retention. You just have to be strategic with your deployment of it. That's where Savannah and I come in. We can help you do webinars with these guys. We can help open our team up to your current client base. And I think that too often we try to serve our automotive vendor clients things that are basically why our product is great. Hey, I'd love you to attend an event for you to sit through 2 hours of me telling you why my thing works well. That's not great. What you should be doing is providing like an insight or providing something that may even be outside of your realm of expertise, but giving the person who just sat there for 2 hours value. And I think we can do that. We can do that across our whole book of creators.
So between now and next week, when we film this again, we have a couple big things going on. We have a live event in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And we're filming a pilot for a show tomorrow.
That's true. It's funny how these things happen. You know, so many people approach us and they're like, oh, I want brand deals. And it's like, is that the best use of a person? And that's not the best use of every person. Some people are quirky and they just kind of are better served if we can pair them with a large channel and turn them into like a show, frankly. Or, you know, Russ and Andrew and Javon and all the people that are going to Pittsburgh this weekend, they announced a car show. It was kind of funny. They had the idea to put on a car show, and then Savannah and I suddenly get sucked into promoting a car show. And Savannah's creating a one-pager with their faces on it, and they're telling her she put the wrong headshots on there. It was the
wrong angle of Javon's forehead. I was like, sorry, Javon. And
yeah,
then also letting them know that they need to think about logistics, right? Where are you going cars, Russ?
Savannah and I care about this because we want to show the dealership base like what is out there available to you if you do engagements with these guys. Like, what if Andrew and Russ and Javon basically promoted a car show at your Toyota store in South Florida? Like, nobody's coming to your store for deals. They're coming there for like some sort of weird experience that's actually engaging. It goes back to the same thing of selling people things. They don't really come there for price. They come there for experience, and our guys can really help provide it.
Well, I'm excited for us to kind of hit those milestones this week and keep providing updates and building a business.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody who's reached out and congratulated us on launching a business. I think that's like the scariest congratulations of all time. It's like Nick Saban, you know, that's rat poison. You want to put that out of your mind. And you basically, Savannah and I are hell-bent on executing, building a business, and providing value to all of our clients.
It's gonna be a fun journey.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.